What if I told you you already have it? The fire, the power, the blueprint, not something out there hidden in books or waiting in approval from others. No, it's already in you. But here's the tragedy: most people will go to their graves never discovering it. Not because it wasn't there, but because they didn't dare to believe. Act as if you are the best, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but now. Walk into every room like it was designed with you in mind. Speak with the certainty of someone who has already conquered every mountain, faced every storm, and turned every scar into a badge of honor. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You are not pretending, you are remembering. Because deep inside, beneath the fear and the self-doubt, you've always known. You were not made to be average. You were not built to blend in. You were born to stand out. Train your mind to declare this truth: no one is better than me, not because I am perfect, but because I refuse to let insecurity dictate my worth. I refuse to let society define my limits. I refuse to bow to fear. That voice in your head that says, "Who do you think you are?" Answer it with fire: I am the storm. I am the answer. Success isn't reserved for the chosen few. It is seized by those who act like they deserve it. Confidence is not a gift. It's a decision. And the world, it doesn't care about your doubts. It reflects back to you what you project. Believe in yourself and the world will bend to your belief. Doubt yourself and the world will gladly confirm it. So today, choose power. Choose certainty. Choose to act as if you were born for greatness because you were. Desire the origin of all achievement, not a fleeting wish, not a mild interest, but a fire so consuming that it refuses to be ignored. Every legend you've ever admired, every world shaker you've studied, they all began in the same place. Not with privilege, not with resources, but with an obsession. A relentless burning desire to bring a vision into reality. It is not enough to want something. You must need it, deep in your bones. You must crave it more than comfort, more than sleep, more than the approval of others. Because the moment you reduce your dreams to convenience, they begin to die. Think of Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before giving the world the light bulb. Was he lucky? Numb. He was possessed by purpose. He treated failure like fuel. Every setback fed the fire. He didn't merely want success, he demanded it. So what about you? What do you want so badly it keeps you up at night? What dream burns behind your eyes every time you close them? What vision makes your heart race and your hands sweat? Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Name it. Own it. Then write it down. Not someday. Now. The moment you put your dream on paper, it becomes real. It stops being a fantasy and becomes a contract. A vow. Not to the world, but to yourself. And every day you feed that desire. You visualize it with such clarity that your brain begins to think it's already happened. You see the victory, you feel the triumph, and you train your subconscious to move like it's inevitable. But don't stop there. Desire without movement is a lie. You don't sit and wait for perfect timing. You act. You show up when it's hard. You push forward when it hurts. You take risks. Because desire is only real when it's tested. The truth, most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because their desire fades at the first sign of resistance. But you are different. Your desire is not negotiable. Your fire does not dim. When others pause, you press on. Because you don't just wish to succeed, you've already decided. And you will not be denied. Faith believing in yourself when no one else does. When the room is silent. When the crowd has vanished. When the results haven't arrived. Faith is not built in the sunlight of success. It's forged in the storm when everything is uncertain and the only thing you have left is your voice whispering, "Keep going." You can read every book, study every strategy, work tirelessly, but without belief, without unshakable conviction in your own power, it all crumbles. Because the path to greatness is not paved with guarantees. It's carved by those who step forward anyway. Understand this belief is not some fluffy notion. It is the foundation of every achievement in human history. It's what carried Lincoln through failure after failure until he led a nation. It's what drove Oprah through rejection after rejection until she became a global force. They were not handed success. They believed it into existence. But belief isn't passive. It's a decision, a discipline, a commitment to see the invisible and chase the impossible. You must wake up every day and choose it, even when you don't feel it, even when your reflection is filled with doubt. You look into the mirror and you declare, I am capable, I am worthy, I will win. Because your mind is the battlefield and faith is your greatest weapon. Without it, fear takes control. But with it, you become unstoppable. Because when you believe success is inevitable, you show up differently. You speak with purpose. You act with fire. You stop waiting for permission and you start moving like the outcome is already yours. And something incredible happens when you believe in yourself with everything you've got. The world starts to bend. Doors open. People notice. Opportunities appear, not by accident, but because your certainty forces the world to respond. This isn't delusion. This is creation. You are constructing your reality through the clarity of your faith. What your mind can conceive and believe, it truly can achieve if you refuse to let doubt rewrite your story. So let me ask you this. If you knew you couldn't fail, how would you move today? What would you start? What would you say? That's the version of you the world is waiting for. Start being that person now, and let your faith make it real. Auto-suggestion. Programming your mind for greatness. Your thoughts are not just ideas, they are commands. And every day you are either reinforcing your power or reinforcing your limitations. The question is, which voice are you listening to? The world is loud. It screams doubt. It sells fear. It feeds you stories about why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you're not enough. And if you don't consciously rewrite that script, your mind will run on someone else's program. But here's the truth. Your mind listens to what you repeatedly tell it. That's why the greats, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, trained their minds daily. Not just with knowledge, but with affirmations, with images, with rituals. Because they knew repetition is the path to belief, and belief is the gateway to action. So what do you say to yourself each morning? Do you wake up and inherit yesterday's doubt? Or do you stand in front of the mirror, shoulders back, and declare, I am the best. I am unstoppable. I am destined for greatness. At first it feels like a lie. Years of negative programming will push back. You'll hear whispers of doubt, but repeat it anyway. Loud. With conviction. Because the more you speak it, the more your mind will align. And when your mind aligns, your behavior follows. Belief is the first domino. Speak it, feel it, and then act like it. A champion doesn't just say, I'm great, they show up and train like it. A visionary doesn't just affirm wealth, they move like someone building an empire. You must act in alignment with your affirmations or your words become hollow noise. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So feed it the vision you want to live. Visualize the victory before it arrives. Walk with the posture of someone who's already achieved it. Speak with the rhythm of certainty. Program your identity until it becomes second nature. Soon you'll stop saying, I will be great. You'll start being great. You won't need external validation because your internal belief system will be unshakable. The world won't dictate your mood or momentum. You'll set your own frequency and everything will rise to match it. That's the power of auto-suggestion. It's not magic. It's mastery. Specialized knowledge. The difference between average and extraordinary. The world doesn't reward generalists. It remembers masters. In a sea of people who know a little about a lot, it is the one who goes deep, the one who studies, applies, refines, and masters who rises above the noise. Let's be clear, hard work alone is not enough. Millions work hard every day and still remain stuck in mediocrity. Why? Because they never became irreplaceable. They never focused their energy long enough to own a domain. Specialized knowledge is the edge. It's what makes you indispensable. It's what turns your efforts into impact and your value into leverage. The most successful people in every field, whether business, sports, art, or science, got there, not by knowing everything, but by knowing one thing better than anyone else. So ask yourself, what problem do you solve better than anyone? What skill, craft, or insight can you hone until it becomes your signature? Once you find it, immerse yourself. Go beyond the surface. Read obsessively. Seek mentors. Dissect what works and why. Apply. Fail. Adjust. Repeat. Make your growth deliberate, not accidental. Passive learning doesn't change lives, applied learning does. Specialized knowledge is not just information. It is information in motion. And when you combine that motion with mastery, you become powerful beyond measure. You become someone the market needs, not just wants. And that is where true opportunity lives. But here's what separates the elite. They never stop learning. They never assume they've made it. Because they understand mastery is not a destination. It's a discipline. It moves with the world, evolves with time, and rewards those who keep pace. You want to rise, then dive deeper. You want respect, then command it through expertise. Be so good they can't ignore you. Be so precise that no one else compares. Because when you own your field, you don't chase opportunity. Opportunity chases you. In today's world, information is everywhere, but wisdom is rare. Choose to be rare. Let others dabble. You master. Decision, the hidden force behind every breakthrough. If there's one thing that quietly kills more dreams than failure ever could, it's hesitation. Not action. Inaction. Not bold mistakes. Timid waiting. You don't lose when you try and stumble. You lose when you pause, paralyzed by fear, endlessly overthinking, waiting for the stars to align. The people who win in this world aren't the smartest. They're not even always the most talented. They are the most decisive. They choose. They commit. They move. Think about it, every world-shaping invention, every revolution, every fortune ever built began with a decision. Not a discussion. Not a committee. One person saying, "I'm doing this. Now." Meanwhile, most people are stuck. They're waiting to feel ready, waiting for more clarity, waiting for validation. But readiness is a myth. Clarity is born from doing, not thinking. You don't need perfect information. You need momentum. Because momentum creates progress, and progress gives you feedback, and feedback gives you power. But none of that comes without the first leap. And yes, you will make wrong choices. That's okay. The most successful people on earth made 1,000 bad calls, but they made them. They didn't freeze. They learned. They adapted. They moved again. Success isn't a straight line. It's a chaotic dance between action and correction. And the only way to stay in the dance is to keep deciding. So here's the truth you need to accept. You will never have all the answers. You will never eliminate every risk. And you will never create success through perfect plans alone. You create it by stepping forward again and again with confidence in your ability to figure it out as you go. Hesitation feeds fear. Action silences it. The greats. Ford, Carnegie, Disney. They didn't wait for permission. They moved. You must do the same. Because the world does not wait. Opportunity does not knock twice. And the life you want will not wait for you to feel safe. So today, draw a line. Make the choice. No more waiting. No more wondering. Act like the best to decide fast. Act boldly. Adjust later. Persistence. The refusal to quit no matter what. Here's a truth most people can't stomach. Success is not about talent. It's not about connections. It's not even about how smart you are. It's about how long you can hold on after everyone else lets go. Every path to greatness is littered with rejection, with failure, with setbacks so brutal they make ordinary people quit. But the greats, they don't flinch. They persist. Edison didn't just fail a few times, he failed over 1,000. Ford went bankrupt more than once. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was fired and told she wasn't fit for television. But none of that mattered, because they had already made the decision they would not quit. Period. They understood something the average person doesn't. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. Obstacles aren't signals to turn back. They're filters. They separate the ones who kind of want it from the ones who must have it. You will be tested. Life will hit you hard. You'll feel like everything's falling apart, like the world's laughing at your dreams. And in those moments, you will hear one voice: quit. Let go. This isn't worth it. But another voice, quieter at first, will whisper, keep going. One more step. One more round. And that voice, that's the one you need to amplify. Because persistence is power. Not glamorous, not instant, but unmatched in its effectiveness. Every time you keep going, you gain strength. You build resilience. You prove to yourself that nothing can stop you. Remember the Great Depression. Millions lost everything. But those who adapted, who pushed forward, became millionaires. They refused to quit. They used adversity as fuel. You must do the same. No matter how hard it gets, how long it takes, how far the finish line seems, refuse to back down. If you remove quitting from your vocabulary, you leave only one option: victory. So next time you hit a wall, don't ask, is this the end? Ask, is this the test? Because if you can endure what others can't, you will achieve what others never will. Train your mind to see struggle as the sharpening stone of your greatness. Embrace the pain. Welcome the pressure. Persist until persistence becomes identity. And when you finally rise, you won't just be successful, you'll be unbreakable. Mastermind Group. Your circle is your ceiling. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, truly far, go with the right people. Here's the truth. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Their mindset infects yours. Their standards become your limits. Their language becomes your inner voice. So look around. Who's in your corner? Are they lifting you or anchoring you? Are they challenging your excuses or enabling them? The most successful people on earth don't rise in isolation. They build mastermind alliances, tight circles of people who think big, act boldly, and hold each other to the fire of greatness. Henry Ford had Edison. Carnegie had Schwab. Oprah had Maya Angelou. None of them walked their path alone. They surrounded themselves with thinkers, builders, dreamers, people who demanded more. Why? Because proximity is power. When you're around people who settle, you'll shrink your vision to match their comfort. But when you're around giants, people with impossible goals and relentless drive, you rise. So build your circle with intention. Find people who have walked the road you're on. Study them. Reach out. If you can't reach them directly, consume their minds through books, speeches, podcasts, and interviews. Let their wisdom become your foundation. And protect your energy. Distance yourself from those who drain you, belittle your dreams, or wrap themselves in negativity. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to guard your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Then be valuable. Don't just give. Offer insight. Share resources. Lift others. A powerful network is built not on need, but on mutual elevation. And most importantly, be the kind of person you want to attract. Live at a higher frequency. Push your limits. Stay hungry, because iron sharpens iron. And greatness requires accountability. The world is filled with noise, distraction, and average. But your circle, your mastermind, should be your sanctuary of vision, drive, and truth. Surround yourself with those who see your greatness before the world does, and together you'll build something no one can tear down. The subconscious mind, control it or be controlled by it. Your subconscious is not just some silent partner in your life. It is the operating system behind everything you think, feel, and do. And the most dangerous part, it runs whether you're aware of it or not. Every belief you hold, every fear you carry, every limitation you obey, it was planted there. By parents, by teachers, by trauma, by society. And unless you reprogram it, those old beliefs will keep dictating your future. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't intentionally plant powerful seeds, seeds of success, belief, and confidence, then weeds of fear, doubt, and failure will grow by default. The good news, you are the gardener. You decide what takes root. And that begins with what you feed your mind every single day. Not just once, not just when you're motivated. Every single day. The world is full of noise media that breeds fear, people who project insecurity systems that teach you to shrink. And if you let all of that seep into your subconscious, your life will reflect it. But if you become the gatekeeper of your mind, if you drown out doubt with empowering thoughts, inspiring messages, and bold affirmations, you will rewire your entire reality. This is not wishful thinking. This is neuroscience. Your brain literally rewires based on what you repeatedly think and visualize. So visualize your success. Picture your future like it's already happening. Feel the emotions of victory before it arrives. Walk like you've already won. Speak like you've already arrived. Because your subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and truth. And once it accepts a new truth as fact, it starts building your life around it. This is why elite athletes rehearse victory in their minds before stepping on the field. Why world-class leaders speak with certainty before the results come. They've trained their subconscious to expect greatness, so greatness becomes the only outcome. Now ask yourself, what have you been feeding your mind lately? Are you reinforcing power or poisoning your potential? This is your call to take control. Flood your subconscious with clarity, purpose, and belief. Let every thought become a stepping stone toward your highest self. Because the moment your subconscious believes you're a winner, your actions will follow, your results will accelerate, and your destiny will align. Decisive action. The world bends for those who move. History doesn't remember the ones who waited. It remembers the ones who acted boldly, imperfectly, fearlessly. When the Great Depression hit and millions froze in fear, there were just a few who moved. They invested. They created. They built. While others hesitated, they decided. And decades later, we call them visionaries. Not because they were smarter, but because they refused to sit still. You see, in moments of chaos, uncertainty, or fear, most people retreat. They wait for clarity. Wait for guarantees. Wait for a signal that now is the time. But champions don't wait for signals. They create them. They understand the truth. Decisive action doesn't follow confidence, it creates it. The fastest way to destroy fear is to do the very thing you're afraid of. Because the moment you act, the fear shrinks, the power returns, and momentum begins. So many people live stuck in their heads, overthinking, overanalyzing, waiting to feel ready. But the most successful people in the world, they act when they're not ready. They leap before certainty, and that leap creates the bridge beneath their feet. You cannot think your way into success. You move your way there. And when you move with belief, when you carry yourself like success is inevitable, the world responds. Doors open. People notice. Circumstances align. Because boldness is magnetic. But let's be honest, action is uncomfortable. It will stretch you. It will scare you. It will make you question everything. And that's exactly how you know it's working. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not dreams. They're chores. And if your actions don't stretch you, they're not decisions. They're delays. So what are you waiting for? Perfection. It doesn't exist. Permission. You already have it. More knowledge. You'll learn more by doing than waiting. Success doesn't come to those who tiptoe. It comes to those who charge forward with fierce intent. From this moment on, train yourself to move fast, to decide boldly, to take action before fear gets a chance to vote. Because the only thing more expensive than a bold decision is no decision at all. Fear, the silent assassin of dreams, not failure, not rejection. Fear. It's the shadow behind every excuse, every delay, every abandoned goal. And here's the brutal truth. Fear has destroyed more potential than defeat ever could. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if they judge you? What if you're not enough? But listen closely. Those are not warnings. They are invitations. Invitations to rise, to stretch, to enter the arena where most never step foot. The people who change the world. They feel fear too. The difference, they move through it. Entrepreneurs risk everything to build a vision no one else sees. Athletes step into arenas with everything on the line. Leaders make calls that could shape history, and every one of them feels the tremble of fear. But they act anyway, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. Understand this fear is not your enemy. It's your compass. It shows you exactly where your growth lives, exactly where your next breakthrough is hiding, and exactly what you must do to become who you're meant to be. So don't run from fear, lean into it. Chase it down, confront it, use it. Because every time you move through fear, it loses power. And every time you retreat from it, it grows stronger. Think about it, how many moments have you lost to hesitation? How many times did fear make the decision for you? Not anymore. From now on, fear doesn't dictate your life. You do. You act even when your voice shakes. You move even when your knees tremble. You decide that your future is more important than your fear. And once you do that, once you face what scares you most, you'll find something incredible on the other side. Freedom. Because the real prison is not failure. It's the fear of it. Break the chains. Step forward. Be bold. Because everything you've ever wanted, every dream, every victory, every transformation is waiting for you, just on the other side of fear. Now you know. Now there are no excuses. You've walked through the blueprint: desire, faith, persistence, mastery, action, and faced the enemy called fear. You've seen what separates those who dream from those who do. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's decision. A decision to believe before the world does. A decision to act as if success is already yours. A decision to rise again and again until the mountain bows, because that's what the best do. They don't wait to become worthy. They decide they are. And then they act like it until the rest of the world has no choice but to agree. So, here's your charge. From this moment forward, carry yourself like you've already arrived. Speak like someone whose voice shapes reality. Move like the universe is waiting on you because it is. No more playing small. No more shrinking for the comfort of others. No more tiptoeing around your potential. Stand tall. Speak boldly. Act fearlessly. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate, to create, to lead, to inspire, and above all, to claim the life you were born for. So don't just hear this. Live it. Act as if you are the best. Because when you do, eventually, inevitably, the world will see it too. If this message woke something inside you, don't let it fade. Comment, I'm ready. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. But most of all, act. Not for them, for you, for who you're becoming. This is your moment. Claim it.